Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2018 BMW 330e iPerformance. It was a lease return that was then sold as a certified pre-owned extended warranty BMW, and made its way from California here to Arizona, and that's how we got our hands on it. It has a really strong maintenance history in Carfax, so shows that it was loved, and almost all the maintenance was done at BMW dealerships themselves. So it's kind of what you like to see. But now let's get nerdy on the vehicle itself. What is a 330e iPerformance? Well, it is BMW's first ever crack at a 3 Series plug-in hybrid. So that means you get all the F30 chassis 3 Series goodness you BMW nerds have come to know and love, but you get better fuel economy, about 14 to 16 miles of real-world EV-only range if you want to, running at speeds up to 75 miles an hour, so you can even take this thing out on the highway, all electric. And when you want to kick it into Sport or Sport Plus, you get that B48 turbo 4-cylinder motor combined with that electric motor, making 250 horse, 310 foot-pounds of torque, 8-speed ZF automatic. These were rear-wheel drive only, so it's got all the good driving dynamics you want out of a BMW. And that EV motor acts as a torque fill while the turbo builds boost, so there's almost no lag. I won't say it is true inline 6 BMW responsive, but it is as close as you can get with a turbo. It drives genuinely good. All of the good interior stuff you'd expect from a higher trim 3 Series, about as high as you could get without pushing all the way up into the IS, the M Sport, or the full Zoot M line. So they really kind of came correct with this, and like all BMWs, it definitely prioritizes your comfort as a driver and being as customizable and personalizable as it can be through that iDrive system. Up here under the hood of the 330e. Now, this being a BMW and a plug-in hybrid, it's a pretty full engine bay, but it's laid out well and it's pretty easy to understand, so I'll break it down to you real quick. Right front and center here, this is that B48 2-liter 4-cylinder. You add your oil here, and it's an electronic dipstick, so you can check that from inside the car through the iDrive system. Over here, this is all your EV gubbins. Up under here is just a bunch of wires and connectors under this cover, so I'll snap that back in place. This is part of the inverter for that drive unit. And this coolant handles the inverter, battery pack, and drive motor. This is the coolant reservoir for your internal combustion engine, so all the normal stuff this one handles. Up under the shroud is your usual fan, radiator, AC, core, all that fun stuff. Airbox is right here for your air filter, and then over here you've got your windshield washer fluid, and that is your jump point because a 12-volt battery for this car is in the trunk to make space and for better weight distribution. So positive cable there, and your ground post is there if you ever need to jump this thing off. But yeah, pretty straightforward, and even looking down here on the side of the engine, there's a catalytic converter and the downpipe and your turbocharger tucked right up in there. You can actually get your whole hand in there and have some pretty good room around it, especially as you start popping these covers off. The engine bay opens up pretty wide if you need to get in there. Back into the trunk of the 330e here, it is about what you would expect from a trunk on a compact sports sedan. It is pretty wide, pretty deep, and it's got good height to it. But if you need more room, this and this drop those back seats entirely so they lay flat. That middle knocks down as a pass-through separate of the other two seats if you got some long stuff and passengers. And you've got little storage strap there, storage cubby there, storage cubby here that is occupied now with the at-home 110 volt regular plug it into the wall and charge your car up level 1 charger. Above that there is a little cigarette lighter power socket. And down here you've got a little bit of storage. Got my detailing brush in there right now, but you can keep a thing or two in there. And under here, that's that 7.6 kilowatt hour battery pack for the entire EV drivetrain in this. It's pretty compact, and if you ever need to access it, it's pretty accessible. The only other thing of note back here is this panel here. You pull these down, 1 and 2, and then this flips and tumbles out of the way. You have got your recovery hook here in this molded foam. You lift that out of the way, and there is your 12-volt battery for the car. You remove this bolt here, and that bolt there comes out, and you can get the battery right up and out. They also put most of the fuses for the vehicle hiding back here as well to keep them close to the battery and as out of the heat, out of the weather, and out of the dust and vibration as they can. In the back seat of the 3 Series, backseat passengers get their own climate control vents with the ability to change their temperature. So technically this is a 3-zone car, driver, passenger, and back seat. You have a 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet there. Each door has its own door pocket in it with a little cutout just about deep enough to hide a tall water bottle or something like that. You've got a little mesh basket behind both seats. And here in the middle, as I turn around, this drops, armrest, and dual cup holders in it. Kind of cool. This is the switch to flip that seat down for the trunk pass-through I was telling you about before. And at the bottom of these, there are child seat anchors for keeping the kiddos safe and secure. Spinning it around, you'll see I'm 6'1", 260 pounds. I'm not a small dude. But this seat is where I sit to drive and shoot video, so it's leaned back a little bit more than usual. And I have a little bit of room back here. It's a bit snug, but this is a compact sports sedan. BMWs were billed for years as the ultimate driver's cars, not necessarily ultimate backseat passengers' cars. I could chill back here for 200 miles, but if you have someone smaller up front, you'll have even more room back here. Just when you try to stack big dude on big dude, you know, things get a bit close. Here in the pilot seat of the 330E. I've got the seat slammed all the way down and back so I can give you guys as much room to see as possible, and we'll get right into it. It's got the usual power windows, power mirrors, and power door locks in it. Over here, hood release is a double pull like all BMWs. Trunk release is that little button there, and that is your fuel door release. Headlight controls here. Fog lights, automatic headlights off, markers on, and dimmer for the center controls and your gauge cluster. On the steering wheel, before I get to the gauge cluster, cruise control controls are here on the side, and then your radio controls are here on this side. You do have panels for when you slam it into Sport or Sport Plus, so you can manually clip through all 8 of those gears. And moving on to the gauge cluster itself, it is just a really clean, simple BMW gauge cluster. Fuel, speed, tach, and temperature. But the 2 little screens on the bottom give you a lot of extra goodies, like your actual mileage on battery only, battery state of charge, cumulative MPG since you reset your trip, average electric consumption, so electric fuel economy, and real-time instant economies for both, as well as an average speed traveled and the date. This little guy over here, you'll see that change when we're driving it, showing charge versus power output, and depending on the drive modes you have it set in. Speaking of the drive modes, the controls for that are right here, as well as eDrive, which is the EV portion of this, and the plug-in hybrid side of things. So you've got 4 drive modes in here that control this rocker switch. You have got Eco Pro, which prioritizes obviously economical driving. Comfort, just pretty normal, middle of the road. Everything is just about 50%. Not harsh, not too economical, not too sporty. And then you've got Sport and Sport Plus, which puts this thing in full kill mode. Traction control is basically knocked down a notch or 2, so you can enjoy the driving dynamics of a BMW. And it uses that EV motor to basically give additional power to the gas drivetrain. So this is everything full kill. It's a pretty cool thing to play around with. And then if you knock it down into Eco Pro and you hit eDrive, eDrive gives you 3 settings. Auto eDrive is your just Normal, it uses both gas and electricity at its own decision. Max eDrive will try to run entirely on electricity for as long as possible. And then save battery mode is effectively a hold state of charge mode. Let's say you have the battery completely full up and you don't want to use it until you know you're going to, let's say, drive from Tucson to Phoenix, and you're going to hit really nasty traffic when you hit Phoenix. And you want to be able to just go through Phoenix's stop and go traffic on electric only. This allows you to do that. So when you get there, you can knock it into Max eDrive and run on battery only, or the standard auto eDrive. This is your iDrive system here. It is predominantly controlled through this wheel here, which takes a little getting used to at first, but it falls nicely to hand. And once you figure out the buttons and the wheel, you can do everything without ever even looking down. But this is, being a 2018, having the upgraded interior, this is a touchscreen, so you can go through it just like that. And you've got a few different settings and options up here, and each one of these will open their own submenus, from the media, which is AM, FM, Bluetooth, XM, and I believe this has line-in wired phone pairing. Think like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but only when it's cabled in. But more importantly, all the nav stuff is ported through here, and they run it on their own standalone system. You've got communication, so for text messages, emails, phone calls, all that stuff can port up there. Your own vehicle's settings, and there's a bunch of them in here that you can play with. And then, you know, notifications for maintenance reminders, that kind of thing. Down here, your climate controls. When I was in the back seat, I said it's technically a 3-zone car, which that's what this is. You have your driver and your passenger zones here. You can both have your own temperatures set, and it is automatic. So depending on how you want it, you can just set a temperature and just let it go, or you can fiddle with the settings yourself. And again, hot on one side, cold on the other, and backseat passengers can play with their own temperatures as they see fit. Moving over here, just a pretty decently sized glove box. Nothing fancy, but it'll swallow basically half your arm, so you can fit some good stuff in there. And these seats kind of rock. I'll show you the passenger seat because I'm sitting in the driver's seat. But you've got these bolsters here and here adjust for the driver. This is a game changer. This is for your thighs. So you can either have it all the way back, or you can pull it out and give you extended support almost out to where your knees are, which makes super comfortable seating for long distance journeys. And it's just nice leather, good place to be. And the only other noteworthy thing is you got the aluminum trim here, but this really cool, like, stained dark and gray wood trim. It looks really, really nice. But that's enough button pushing. Let's go for a drive. Listen to this thing with that 4-cylinder turbo humming along. I'll knock it down and hit the paddles and knock it down into first gear, so you can actually hear this little motor work. Yeah, it's definitely fun. Oh, and if you're wondering about the parking sensors and the backup camera, let's back in next to that Jeep right quick. So you push that tab in and you go over and forward to go into reverse. Backup camera lights up, and then you can just use the predictive course lines. Engine shuts off too, so it backs up on EV power only. And then yeah, you can just follow this right on back. Easy peasy. I've got this set in full, like, Eco Pro plug-in hybrid mode, letting the computer do its own thing to be as efficient as possible. You'll notice sitting here at a stoplight, there is no noise because it's not running the gas motor. And as you pull away, the engine will stay off and it'll run EV only, just like, you know, like you don't even have a gas motor up front for doing low speed and in-town stuff. Here, when you're on the highway and you set your cruise control, watch the speedometer there. Turn it on, whoop, that little bar rises to your set point and goes green when you set it, and it gives you your actual selected speed right there. This little paddle here bumps your speed up. A full push is 5 mile-an-hour increments. A half push moves it up mile an hour at a time. Pretty cool. And as you see, goes down the highway pretty darn good. not particularly loud, and pretty comfy in here. It's a BMW. I mean, you know it's going to be good at speed. That's the cruise set at 70. I'm going to make it up to 75. And if you'll notice, the engine's off. We are running purely on battery, humming down the highway. Got an empty stretch of road in front of us, so I'm going to do a quick 0 to 40 to 0 to show off the acceleration and braking on this, and to further prove that there's nothing hiding in the suspension or braking systems under full accelerative or panic braking loads. We're in Sport Plus mode, so ready, set, go! Yeah, it's good. Residential areas here, pretty rough, broken up pavement. Windows down, and this thing is in EV mode again, so you all can really hear this thing's suspension working on the broken up stuff. Again, pretty broken up pavement here, but no squeaks, rattles, or clunks coming from that suspension. And again, this is windows open to hopefully give you all the best picture possible of the way this thing is running. Now, given notice how quiet this thing is with that engine off, run on electric only power, go into save battery mode, sport mode, make the engine kick on. So when it's running like a normal car, not quite EV whisper quiet, but still pretty good. If you've liked what you've seen so far and you want to see and learn more about this plug-in hybrid BMW, go to our website, TucsonFutureClassics.com. There you'll find the full listing on this vehicle, including a suite of photos, the Carfax vehicle history report, and a written description. I do have to ask, however, we are an appointment-only dealership because we're a crew of only about 4 people. So giving us a heads up is crucial to allowing us to make the best introduction possible of this car to you. Now, when you're ready to come down, call us, text us, email us to info@TucsonFutureClassics.com, hit us up on Facebook Messenger, or slide into our Instagram DMs. You can get in touch with us all sorts of ways. Hopefully, I've been able to tell you everything you could ever want or know to make an informed decision on this 330e. And if I have done that, well, I've been Dylan. We'll see you soon.